Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. Historically, for many decades, theatre has been a tool not only for entertainment, but for also social changes, communication, and also impacting knowledge onto a society, especially for those who would always also love live theatre. But in most recent times, is theatre still as useful as it used to be as a tool for social transformation? That's where our conversation today is tilting towards. And we have, of course, a theatre practitioner in the studio this morning, whom together we'll be taking a look at how we can use theatre or go back to using theatre as a tool for social transformation. Join us this morning as I welcome the president of the National Association of Nigerian Theatre Arts Practitioners, NANTAP, Adeniran Makinde, FTA. Thank you for being here on the program again today.
Thank you.
Right, let's go back to what we've always known theatre to be, and especially live theatre, where you necessarily do not need to, have a performance stage, because again, it is seen as anywhere could be your stage, and anywhere could be where you could actually use the theatre as a tool for social transformation, to pass on messages, to drive on points as a social crusade. So if that's what we knew, of course, the theatre for in years back, is it safe to say that the theatre today still has the same value, still has the same, can still be used as the same tool for driving behavioral changes, societal changes, or have we missed it somewhere?
Well, we have missed it. Theatre is still as potent as ever.
Okay.
Because as weak in terms of finance and all of that, that theatre may seem to be, it has not stopped its potency in terms of being a tool that can be easily used for social transformation.
Okay.
You know, if anything at all, I think it's become more powerful. But I believe we have stopped being innovative.
As practitioners or as society?
As society,
okay.
We have stopped being innovative. We like the easy way. You know, we don't want to follow the path of deliberate, you know. To transform a society, there has to be a deliberate action to it. And that's where theatre comes in. There's a part of theatre, a huge part of theatre, that is referred to as a theatre for development. It is deliberate. Right. Theatre for development takes a huge part of it, is about researching. When you want to do the transformation, you go into that space, you research the space for months. Sometimes
it doesn't have to be immediate.
No, because it is about studying, understanding, before it reverses that understanding, the research material, into the theatre that will then be shown wherever you want it to be shown. And that is when the transformation, because people get easily, they seem to take what is closer to them as a good example.
Okay.
You know, and that's how it works. I feel the society has stopped being innovative.
Right. So it means that if the society has stopped being innovative, then we cannot pass on a message to a people who, of course, are not being receptive to that form of communication, because whether we like it or not, theatre is a form of communication, and it can be done in many ways. And so when we talk about the influence and public opinion, where do we start from? Do we start from back to the schools where theatre is taught, or do we begin to look at where it originated from, not necessarily without the four walls of a classroom?
Every segment of the theatre, in terms of financing, in terms of policy making, in terms of education and all of that, really needs serious looking at.
Okay.
This is where we fall back, even though I hate talking about it. Every time you want to talk about such thing, you fall back on government, on government, on government. But hey,
the government is a regulator.
It's a regulator. We just have to go back there. Only that the approach they are using now is what I fault.
Okay.
Right? I fault the approach. I'm not one that believes in theater needs money.
Okay.
I'm not. Yes,
But
theater
does
needs
need money.
Theater needs money,
Okay.
but it's not the first thing.
Okay.
You can't begin to put money in something that has no structure. So policy for me is first.
Okay.
Let's look at it, right? Financing the education of it, because when we finance the education of it, every element of its education will be taught,
Okay.
right? Will be well taught. Infrastructure will be there in those schools. Some of those schools go there. Yes, theater arts, they are being taught, but when you see there are no materials to even teach, and the education of theater includes having, right, a practical experience. Okay. So where you don't have such infrastructure, you reduce their level of, and then when we now come out, what are the structures that are out for you to practice fully, professionally? How many standard theater all they will have? Okay, let's leave it. When the education is not right, how do we continue to propagate? Yeah. Right? Because theater happens even in empty space. Sure. You get what I'm saying? By a Peter Brook, you know, give me a space and I'll give you a performance. Right. You get what I'm saying? But when everything is not working the way it is supposed to work, right? So when I mentioned the society has stopped being innovative, I was actually subtly referring to government agencies and all of that, that we have stopped being innovative. Yeah. You know, where you want to do a campaign, like this ministry, what's it now, for information, something for information. Ministry of Information and... No, there's an agency that is particularly... NOA. Yeah. You know, theater is an easy tool to carry some of these things out. Yes, they will say they do it, but to what extent? Are we taking full advantage of it? You get what I'm saying? And these are all the issues. So when I made that statement of the society has stopped being innovative, I'm subtly referring to
the agencies that should actually be propagated.
A lot of them.
Right. So there's no how we're going to talk about, of course, this without necessarily talking about government, because again, like I said, government is a regulator. And some of those agencies that you've also alluded to are government agencies. Yes. And so one way or the other, they would have to be involved. Yes. And so when we're talking about using theater as a tool for social changes, for social crusaders, for propagating messages to the minds of the people, those agencies, are they also approaching the right set of people? No. So if they're not approaching the right set of people to take on these messages to the minds, to the homes of the people, how then do we continue to ensure that we're doing it the right way? Because again, sometimes people stumble into theater and are not really practitioners, and so it'll be a wishy-washy thing. So if truly we want to get into the minds of the people, get the messages there in the most believable way, how can these agencies also partner the professionals at ensuring that the proper tool, the proper ways are employed to get these messages into the homes, into the minds of the people?
I was somewhere yesterday and we are talking exactly the same thing, and I made a statement. I said, look, one of the problems that I've seen, right, sometimes it's not the leader of such agencies. It's not the fault of such agencies, the leaders of such agencies. I think it's about the advisors they surround themselves with, you know, and this is where the process for which they get there, government have to pay more attention to actually getting in, knowing the right people.
Yeah, but there are associations such as yours, and so they're there, so they should be able to approach, you know, NANTA.
We thought so too. Okay. I mean, we believe so too. Okay. But where it is not happening for ages, even when you make advance to them and they treat it as, you know, in a nation where everybody is claiming to be what they are not, you get such things. So avenues like this become a very good platform to begin to talk to them, to open up to them that something is wrong when you are on top of a ministry and things are not changing for the practitioners. in that industry,
Okay.
then you need to look back at yourselves.
Right.
Right? Most of these agencies, you just need to look beyond your office. You need to reach out to those that your ministry is supposed to cater to. This is critical. I happen to know some advisors around some of these agencies. I know that the advisors are not right, or they shield even these people
From getting
for whatever
the right
reason.
for personal
You
reasons.
yes.
Okay.
But we need to start talking, because blaming those people without sometimes pitying them.
Okay.
Now I've resorted to pitying them more, because when you surround yourself with people who constantly are not giving you the right advice, even when you stumble on something and you say, let's reach out to them, and they tell you, don't mind them, and all of that.
Yeah.
We've had such situations. So I want to put it like that.
Okay.
But look, it is not only government, even the practitioners. You get, what are we doing?
Okay.
Because I always like looking at it from both ends. It is not all the time that we must push the load on the government. I know that is where finances and infrastructure comes in.
Right.
You know, for practice, tool for practice. The school, this is where it comes in. This is where capacity building comes in. All of this can well be structured by government to help the society, because what you don't give, you don't get.
Right. And what you don't have, you cannot give.
You cannot give.
Right.
Because if the government is not deliberate about building the capacity of practitioners, right, and providing them with the right infrastructure, right, they obviously cannot do what you want them to do for the society as it should be.
Right. So when we look at theater, and by theater now, I'm also alluding to productions, yes, film, musicals, and all of that. And we know the role they've played in time past, especially weighing in onto conversations such as social vices, political incursion, and a couple of other issues like that. But when we look at Nigeria as a country and how we've done our things in the past, would you say that at a particular point in time, theater has always been an influence, or has always helped shape people's opinions or perspective as to what exactly is happening in the society, or have we always been docile?
Ooh. I won't say we have been docile. Maybe we have not been effective as we should be because of lack of so many things.
Right.
Theater has always done its own. I always say this. I say, look, the theater, right, is the laboratory for every performative art. So the best a society can do is to empower the theater.
Right.
Because if you check out the ecosystem, what you call Nollywood today, check the ecosystem. It all goes back to the theater.
Right.
So the best any government can do, and this is what I mean about being deliberate. You have to study the ecosystem, understand the practice, understand the people, and then do all of these researches so that you know where to invest.
Right.
If you don't treat this industry the same way you will treat the oil industry in terms of investment, you may not get as much as you would. Creative economy, it's not a joke.
Right.
There is a sense of it making such huge return. But if you don't invest in it rightly, it will appear docile. But you and I know that it is not. Because if Nollywood can pull the kind of stunt it has pulled in the Committee of Nations, because Nollywood just came from anywhere and put Nigeria on the world map. Without any support of the government, it was just our little here and there, get together, do our thing, do it our way, because there is no laid down structure at the time. Even till now, we're just doing our thing without there's no structured anything anywhere. People are just doing their thing. And it went like that. Boom. The same way the music industry went like that. So the government, I feel, or maybe I should use, I know that they know that there is money in there.
In the creative.
Yes, they know. But how to get there?
Yeah.
And this is where I say they are not intentional.
Okay.
They just want it to happen.
Yeah.
The same way we always talk and get happy about Dirty December. We stumbled on Dirty December. It wasn't planned.
Right. Okay, so from what you've narrated now, and then if we go back and we look at where theater originated from in Nigeria, of course, looking back at the Hubert Ogundi, the Afro-Lions, and of course, those that pioneered traveling theater and all of that, and where we are today, if you were to, just cast your mind back or just pick up any production that off the cuff you can remember now that has helped propagate some social crusade, some political advocacy or all that. Is there any off the cuff that you can remember as we sit now?
Well, with the days of Ogunde, there is a whole lot. Right. There was the time he was banned because he did one musical like that for, I think it was for in the Western region. And it was banned from taking...
Can you remember the title?
Yeah, I'm trying to now.
Okay.
Which one is this now? I've forgotten, but he did quite a while.
Right.
You know, I know during the Abacha regime, Israel Ebo was going to do something. No, he was doing one theater like that. Wole Soyinka play. He was arrested. He was arrested during the time and all of that. Quite some few.
Okay.
But
these are majorly just but these are majorly stage productions, or were stage productions.
Yeah, they were stage productions.
Stage productions. So
they were stage productions.
Where we are at the moment, and our love for live theater, which I know diminished in time past, maybe now is being reawakened by a few directors. Would you say that where we are as a country, are we truly there now, or are we getting back there where we can be that daring to begin to do what some of those men did in those years, again to pass on deliberate messages using live theater in particular?
Deliberate is coming. There are a lot of directors, young directors, old one, even myself seated in front of you. We are that daring.
Okay.
But where, like I said, we are not visible enough because...
Okay. Is it because of the number? Is it because of infrastructure?
Infrastructure, one. Funding, two. And all of the structure is weakened. Okay. Whatever we think is there is so much that it's all over the place. Yeah. So we have to get back to that point where theater becomes the true mirror of the society. Right. Those are part of the reason we are doing our thing. No matter what, theater will always speak. But maybe we want to look at the writers. Do we have
enough daring writers?
Daring writers. But as for directors, they're all over the place.
So again, and this is where it gets interesting, because again, it is not one person that makes up, of course, the theater. You have a whole lot of stringers, that will. So now you've mentioned there are a whole lot of directors who are willing to build the carts.
Yes.
So now, are the writers there? Are the actors there? Because again, when you talk about some of these things, of course, social crusading, social transformation, some of these things are tough because you're passing messages that are deliberate. You're passing messages that will look the evil person in the eye and tell them the truth in, like you said, the mirror. So do we have actors who are willing to take everything, knowing full well that at the end of the day, what they get might not even compensate or may not even be commensurate with the kind of energy, with the kind of performances, you're laughing already, or the kind of performances they will be bringing to bear, knowing full well that when it comes to theater, There are so many things to consider. You might be doing 3 performances in a day.
I'm very cool.
Okay.
But I can assure you one thing. There are people out there. I may not be able to sit down because I can talk of myself.
Right.
As a director and as a writer, I'm a satirist.
Right.
You know, so I can do all of this stuff. And I know 1 or 2 other people who can do all of this stuff. They don't really care.
Yeah, but the number.
Well, I can't sit here and tell you the number is this big or is this small.
Right.
So I'm making those few examples to tell you that there are people in there who can do stuff, right? Do we have plays being written in that line? I would say yes, not as daring.
Okay.
Maybe because of the situation. But there are plays that have been written that are still that daring that we can take up and do.
Yeah, okay.
So it all comes back to, and the general society, the world is more structured to the point now that everybody, you choose what you want to do.
Okay.
So we cannot force anybody. If an actor takes up a job and he sees the script eventually and he says, hey, guy, I don't want to be part of this. There's nothing you can do.
Sure.
Gone are the time where we have this burning passion, like the days of the Wole Soyinkas, the guerrilla theater, and all of that. Yes, we have troops.
Yeah, okay.
Theater troops in Bariga, Ajegune, and all of these are suburbs that are still doing things. It is just the financial muscle that they don't have. And where you are being sponsored, your sponsors, they are sponsoring you based on certain things. What they won't want you to say, both of you have to agree.
Okay.
You get. So the world is so structured that when you want to go into such as you have, as it was in the past, you have to self-finance.
Right. Okay.
Where is that money now?
I'm glad you touched on something while you were explaining your point, and I quickly jotted that so I won't forget. Are we also able to begin to explore, or going back to the grassroots or the community theaters like they were in the past, and perhaps also begin to get the communities involved? Perhaps when we start from there, we can then get the message to a larger audience. So how important is it really that we go back to issues around community theaters, especially starting with how we used to do folklore back in the days, telling stories and all of that? So how important is it? And I know you've mentioned being deliberate here, being intentional here, and there's really nothing one needs to do and do well that you can't afford not to be intentional. So again, in going back to reenacting or waking up the era of community theaters, who are those that we should be addressing? I'm not sure that should be government, is it?
Partially. We have the local governments. Partially. It's still in all ways. See, there are people there still in communities doing their community theater. They are just not visible. Okay.
So this visibility is key.
It's key. They are just not visible because attention is not paid to them. Yeah. If you look at a very simple structure in NANTAP structure, let me tell you, NANTAP, we have national, we have state, we have what is called chapels in the states, which is the kind where they are in the local community and all of that.
They're closest to the people.
All over. In Lagos, Lagos has the states, and then we have what we call the theater forums.
Okay. So those are
the theater forums are like
clusters?
The chapel. They are clusters.
Okay.
So they are still there. But are they visible enough? Is there, you see, where they are incapacitated in terms of finance, they are only waiting for somebody to give them shows, to give them gig, and they go to perform. That is what majority of them are left to. As for grants, financing, even when they do these grants, state brings out grants and all of that, they are not well channeled. They are still waiting for those who are doing plastic commercial practice
Okay.
to come and get the fund, or they find the way the fund. They are not deliberately channeled to those
Towards
towards
they
those
should
people.
forward.
And that was why I used that word earlier, deliberate. The government, whether local, state, or national, have to be deliberate about what they want to do, where they want to, and then they channel. We are not saying you should go there practically, but channel a kind of empowerment, a kind of capacity building program towards those, knowing that what you want to get at the end of the day, 5 years down the line, 2 years down the line, 10 years down the line, this is where we should get to if we do this.
Right. So from your explanation now, and we look at the impact of the theater like you've mentioned, so how do we then infuse this? I know this is already happening, but how does your generation also begin to look at using the social media platform as another form, as another avenue of reaching, you know, the nooks and crannies of where one would like to get this social messages to? Because again, when you look at the impact of the social media now, it's also very high, and of course it transcends beyond space, it transcends beyond everywhere, and within the twinkle of an eye, a message can actually be shared to many. So what is perhaps NANTAP or people like yourself doing to also harness the potential that the social media has to offer?
We are doing everything possible. Like one of such efforts in our direction is that we just launched, not quite a month now, we just launched an e-commerce website where all the social, and apart from what individual members have been doing, as you know, almost all practitioners now are on social media, one platform or the other, Twitter, IG, and all of that. So people are there. We are doing our best to go
digital,
because it's even sensible. It's what is in vogue.
At the moment,
so we have to look at the theater, right, and digital age. Because theater has always been an avenue for every idea to go out there. Theater has always been a vehicle.
Yeah, it travels.
It travels. That's what theater has done. So you can actually liken theater to digital. So there is no way, right, you are going to do theater in this age without thinking of the digital process.
Right.
There is no way. And we have members there. Even the association is doing its effort. That's why we had to launch that big website to ensure that we help to migrate all of especially the old guys who have refused to get digital.
They have refused to get digital.
They will tell you,
no, don't count me out.
No, count me out. Don't worry. So we are helping them gradually to get on there. It's important, right?
Okay. So when I mean, with what you've said now, there are certain people who would tell you, I don't think I can migrate. I don't think I can function there. It's for you guys. Go and continue doing your thing. And so when you look at people like that, and is it safe to say that there's some people who would rather not you know, channel their art towards social change or behavioral changes, and then just want to do acting for other purposes rather than, you know, using their acting to drive to drive change or social behaviors or social transformation?
You know, commercial practice now gives you the ability to define
what you want
your
to do.
direction.
Okay.
You get so some people may choose that.
Okay.
Because people are becoming brand.
Yeah. Okay.
And when they determine what they want to become, you cannot fault them for the reason they are doing what they are doing. Right. And I equally know people whose intention for practice is for social. That's what they do. They don't know, even when you give other kind of work to them, they reverse it, they turn it to that. There are people like that. So all such brand has to be respected. We have to respect people's
opinion and personal.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have to respect it.
Okay.
So most of the time I don't want to go because I know my art, I know what I want to do with it, and I know how it should go.
Okay.
You get, because that's my brand.
Okay.
We have people like that. The society, you know, everything has got its advantage and disadvantage.
True.
You know,
True.
as good as we think the digital age is, I feel it has its own disadvantage.
Okay.
And a few of us in Nigeria can talk on
About
that too,
that.
with what we have seen on social media, where information are turned upside down and all of
fake
that.
news.
Yeah, so some people have their reason for not getting in there.
Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
And those who are using, they have their reason. So I wouldn't want us to look at it just in one way.
Okay.
If I choose to be in that space for commercial reasons, I will always, you know, make sure my works are there for the reason I put it there.
Okay. So for the institutions that teach either theater arts or performing arts or dramatic arts, like you might call it, do they understand the enormity of, or do they also teach their students or help channel the thoughts of the students towards using theater as a tool for social or behavioral changes, or are the institutions also not deliberate enough in helping students develop that pattern or that form of specialization in the area of theater?
I think efforts are on to change the education in that, yes, in that direction.
Right.
Because I won't say they are not deliberate, but there are still issues that are debilitating their efforts so far. So it's unfortunate, everything when you look at it, it turns back to government. Yeah, because we are talking about commission that is looking towards educational curriculum and all of that. They have their rules of conduct in there. You know, they can't teach beyond what they have, you get, no matter what they think they know. You know, because some of the lecturers are equally practitioners. Yeah, SONTA, Society of Nigerian Theatre Arts. Most of them, right, are both lecturers and practitioners. So they know some things, but those things, can they take it as it is in practice too? And this is where bridging the gap needs to happen. Most of the time we talk of town and gown. I say it's because we are feeling that we are still talking of town and gown. Town and gown needs to reflect. So it needs to reflect on the educational curriculum.
And what the students know.
Yes, it needs to reflect. It is because we are failing. That's why we keep talking about it. It has to be transmitted into that curriculum so that stages that students are learning, they would have learned all of this
while
there. They don't come out and then come to learn on the job.
And it feels like
what you come to do on the job is exposure. Not that you come to learn on the job when you leave the actual training. Yes. If we build it that way, nothing is rigid. We have to build what we want the way we want it to happen. So I would say efforts are there. But, you know, like I said, the government must help us to achieve all of this aim. Because sometimes I get tired of talking of all this because we keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Most definitely you won't get tired. We'll still keep talking because oftentimes some of these things would always come back and you remember that you've said this once before. But let's take a peep into the future. And if we're looking at, you know, ensuring that theater remains a tool, what are some of those things? I know you've mentioned a few, but then how do the individuals also in the society help not only the practitioners now, but also help in ensuring that theater remains relevant in any form, looking at either live theater, using skits, using the socials to drive transformation, to drive change, what is the role of the audience? Because they also play a pivotal role when it comes to performances. And so how important are they in the scheme of things when we look at the future of theatre? Is there really hope?
There is big hope, big one. It has always been for 4,000 years now. According to one, I've forgotten the name of this thing now, but there is a quote: 4,000 years, theatre has been a job that they've been trying to kill. But that has refused to die.
To die. It's theatre now, Nabiku. You keep reincarnating.
4,000 years, which means it cannot. For you to kill it, you have to be really deliberate. Right. So let's take out that issue of theatre
dying. Okay. It will evolve.
It will evolve. Okay. It will definitely, it keeps evolving. It is us as a society that should know that there is need for us to use this thing for what we want it to achieve. Okay. The audience is key. Without the audience, Nollywood won't be what it is today. Yeah. Right. They talk about making 2 billion and all of that. Who are the people bringing out? It is the audience. It is the same thing with the theater. But this is my appeal to the audience now. The financing, the helping the theater should move beyond waiting for the government. Okay. Right? All right. The society should take it
from the people
as a responsibility. Okay. Theater is a tool to achieving whatever. I know people who are using theater now to access power in Nigeria. I know theater companies that are using theater to access power. Not that they love the theater, but they are doing it simply because they want to use it to access, because one, it gives them the popularity, it gives them the face. I know actors who are on screen, right, just for the face, and people are buying the face. You get, not that they actually are that passionate about it, but they know that keeping
that's the way
they get into anywhere with that face, and they use it for whatever. So the society should know that theater has its own deliberate flexibility, right, to transform into anything, to take the shape of anything. So the society should come out beyond the government. I don't even like situation where everything you say government should bring money, government should bring money. No, that is why most of us, right, you are not able to critique the same government. Because if the same government is giving you money, you can't go and be using their money to abuse them.
Is that not a disadvantage though?
Well, it is not. It depends on how we see it. So, I mean, government is every 4 years, democratically.
Yeah, so like
you
say,
are you going to die there?
He would dictate the piper. How do we say it? He will plays the tune. How do we even say that thing? So if I'm getting your money, then I shouldn't be able. Should I still be able to criticize you subtly, or go the full hog, knowing full well that if I do it too much, I might not get funding anymore?
Okay, hear this. And I pray people who get into power also understand this. Government is in continuum.
True.
You cannot be 100% perfect even when in government, no matter how good intention you are. Yeah. Right? There are things you are not seeing in government. Okay. When you finance such thing as theater for development and all of that, you finance them, and you get to see how they translate some of the policy.
Yeah, right?
It helps you to understand the society. And theater, people don't always criticize government. Sometimes we criticize the society. Yeah. It helps you. People in the house, right? If you finance the arts enough, what it will do is people who sit in the legislative chambers, they have the ability to see their society. That they
it's a reflection.
Yes, they see it from it. When they go to see theater, oh, this is the new society. Because see, when you are elected or you are appointed into a position of power, right, you are taking off a little bit from that society. No matter what you do, it's the nature of the office. Right. And some of the ways you bridge seeing the society that you have been away from is when you, it's when you watch film, this is happening in Nigeria, you get to begin to see it. This helps you. Right. That's why someone in government should not be seeing it. If we give them money, they will be abusing us.
Okay.
Are you going to die in government?
It's even better that they do it so that you can sit up and then you can know where the people actually
so
need
that people
the
won't be
help.
lying. Your advisors won't be lying to you.
Even if
because
they
they
lie,
come,
you know
they shield you out
Yeah.
from the real thing you need to see.
Okay.
But when you have that opportunity, right, they are over your advisors.
Okay.
You will even know the advisor around you that is lying. But we saw film is saying this. If it's not happening, these people won't be using it as experience.
Right.
So for everything in life, there is the advantage and disadvantage. People in government should not get so rigid as to believe that the moment you give us money, we'll be using your money to abuse you.
Okay. Right. So it means that government also needs to be open to criticism.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, take one or two things that you can learn so that governance can be better. After all, it is about the people.
Yes.
As we close this conversation this morning, I asked earlier, is there really hope that there is a better future for theater in Nigeria?
If we keep talking, if we keep making this conversation and people in government are open to truth, right, on such conversation, there's big hope. Because what I term as hope, right, is when you see the number of people. I'm the president of National Association of Nigerian Theatre Arts Practitioners today, so I can tell you that I know, and I'm not just a president that is merely administrative. Right. I'm a practitioner myself, practitioner of 35 years.
So you know where the shoe pinches.
So I can tell you that people every day are getting into the business, whether they study it, whether it's apprenticeship, they are getting into the business.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I've just mentioned a company who is using it to get access to power. Yeah. I've mentioned those who is using it just to get their face out there because they want to start another business.
Right. So people are coming in every day.
People are coming in.
Every day.
So there is need for us as a people, government, to start investing. When you see people trooping in, it's an easier route, right, for people.
To start them.
Yes.
Right.
So the kids, all of them are getting in. Whether they start as a dancer, I just want to be like this, they are getting in. And for any sensible government structure who understands what the future means, you begin to
tap into the investments.
Train them. Yeah. Help them to understand it well right from that beginning so that they will use it for good purpose for that society. Right. Or else, you have just created an avenue for another unrest in the future.
Another unrest in the future. All right, this is a fine place to leave this conversation this morning. Thank you so much, Adeniran Makinde, FTA, President, NANTAP, for always finding time to be with us on the program and never getting tired of talking.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's where we leave this conversation this morning. And like he said, it is important that governments finds a way to invest in their theatre. No matter how we look at it, theatre will always remain a tool for social and transformational changes. It depends on how we're using and harnessing the potential. Thank you for watching this side of the table this morning. We'll take a quick break. When the conversation returns, Adebimpe and Joy will be here with their Lagos conversation.